Welcome to the Experience Salon by Thumbs Up Productions. Just want to give you a little voiceover of this technique that we went through. This gal was great. She came in right at the end of the day and wanted a drastic change. Wanted a pretty massive faux hawk. So I decided to use the carving comb by Donald Scott, Paul Mitchell Pro Tool, and work through with a square layer on the sides. So I'm just taking the hair, vertical sections, pulling straight out from the head, using the over direction because of the round of the head to keep some length on top. I did that on both sides. And then in the back, what I'm doing is I'm just gathering all this hair together into one section right behind the ear, using a little piece from in front of the ear as my starting guide, and I'm over directing from the center back to help protect that length for the faux hawk that's going to go all the way down. So I'm just kind of using an etching motion to give me some jaggedness on the ends, but holding onto that hair tightly and working all the way through until it cuts free. Bam! Pretty awesome. She was stoked. So doing the same on the other side, using that little bit in front of the ear as my guide, and then just working underneath in an etching motion. I like this. This is a great way to get through a haircut fairly quick, but understanding the head shape, understanding how I can over direct to keep the length that I want to create the end goal. So working with the end in mind. Next, I parted along the parietal ridge, and I just worked down through with the notching side of the carving comb to create some concave texturizing within the sides to keep a little wispiness along the hairline and remove bulk above the ears, but under the parietal ridge. Work that through on both sides. She was pretty excited. I like here soon that her little sister's there. When she saw us filming, she busts out her little iPod Touch, starts filming along too. See her in the background in a minute. But this is neat. I like when younger kids have the confidence to step up and get a different look and make pretty drastic changes. She was really excited about the styling and keeping up on it. Now I'm going through above the parietal ridge with the notching side and removing some bulk pushing towards the center. So that short hair that I'm cutting in is going to help push the long hair up into the center. Now, one thing that I don't want to do is get too wispy on the ends, because she's not going to wear her hair up every single time. So I want her to make sure that she has enough structure on the ends to where it doesn't look super wispy when it hangs down. So really staying kind of close to the base and not working out too much towards the ends, so that texture is down in close to the scalp. So I went through the top and just kind of squared off the top a little bit. I didn't want it to be too much of an A-frame point right on the top. Working through with my Paul Mitchell 413 brush and my Paul Mitchell dryer, which I love. Just drying it all kind of towards the center, getting a nice bend to the hair. And then I'm going to go through and do a little bit of dry cutting and some finish work to just help shape and fine-tune the edges. I want to keep this long piece here that I'm working on in the front, but I don't want it to be so massive that she has to try and get it out of her face. So I'll go underneath and actually take some of that section out. Now I'm working through with the Paul Mitchell smoothing iron, just working everything under the parietal ridge down so it has a nice wispiness. The picture she showed me, the sides were shaved out almost to the scalp, and she didn't want that at all. She definitely wanted the wispiness. Her grandma there, you can see, she was in agreement, didn't want her to be too shaved. So we just made sure we kept the sides really wispy, so it gave the contrast. So what I'm doing is I'm sectioning out a V in the fringe, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick. And I'm just working through with a stroking technique to push it all towards the right of her face, so that she actually has a little fringe in there with an overhang piece from the faux hawk. So this way, if she wears her hair down, she doesn't just have a big lock of hair hanging over her face. So using the guide from the center there, I'm actually going to start stroking out towards that end, keeping a little more length. And that keeps the wispiness on the ends that I need. So by traveling my hand and doing the stroking technique, I'm able to keep a little bit of a shattered end, which is going with the rest of the look. Now I'm just going through on that top and just taking a little bit more controlled bulk out. I'm using a no thumb technique where the scissors are just closing slightly as I go down to take some of that bulk out. It's not as heavy as the carving comb, so this way I can work all the way up through the ends. And now I'm just kind of focusing right down at the scalp with a point cutting technique to really give me a lot of support and keep the hair standing up once I use the iron in the product. This will help her out at home as she puts product in right at the scalp, uses the iron to curl it, to stand it up. Those short hairs will really support the long hairs. So doing the same thing in the back. Like I said, this is really controlled. I don't want to get in there too heavy with the carving comb when it's wet and take out so much weight that I destroy my structure. Now I'm working through on the back side of the faux hawk, just angling it in a little bit tighter into the center of the head, taking a little bit of the bulk off. Because around the round of the head, where I over-directed with the carving comb, it's going to leave it a little extra bulk in that corner. So I'm just removing some of that with a stroking technique once again, so that I have the lightness I need for the style. And now just stepping in with our extra body finishing spray and giving it a pretty good coat. I want that to stay up there and be locked in. So this is giving us humidity resistance, and then using the iron to really set that style. So what I'm doing is giving a clamp right at the base to give the stand and support that I need, and then working up through the mid shaft and the ends of the hair, actually putting bends back and forth. I don't want it to all go in the same direction because I want it to have a little bit more of a natural feel once it's brushed out. So locking in the base and then bending up through the ends. Not being too precise in my sectioning. I want it to be a little bit random so that once I run my hands through, it kind of bends back and forth and front and back. If I get real precise and take a 1/2 inch section, 1/2 inch section, then it's going to kind of look like I set the hair in those areas, and I might actually be able to see the splits in the scalp. All that short hair that I put in at the base, that's helping give me the support when I lock it in with the hairspray and the iron at the base, and it's going to help support that as I brush it out. So as I work through the set hair now, I'm just breaking it up. I still want to kind of pull it up and keep it off the head. I don't want to lay it down too much. I'm paying attention to how it's moving, where it wants to fall to, and then a finished spray of extra body finishing spray. And voila, there you are. Great faux hawk. Grandma was stoked. Her sister got a good little video, and she loved it. thanks for watching. Check us out. Thumbs Up Productions, Toby, and Thumbs Up on YouTube. Check us out.